Right, good. Okay, yes, as I was saying, we were having just released a rampaging monster upon the world and patting yourself on the back for doing it.
Big damn heroes.
You were congregated back down in your little dungeony area, scooping loot into your packs, loading a horse up with stuff, and take it away, sad losers.
I don't want to admit to being one of those. Besides, we've got lots of treasure. We shouldn't be sad.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Sulan, because...
Well, yeah.
We didn't find what you were looking for.
No.
Still haven't found what we're looking for.
Still haven't found. Party's turned against me.
For no reason.
But we have an additional lead.
Yeah, another lead.
More notes.
If only we came sooner. Right, so we're at the seats going down is where we were at, wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that where you are?
Yeah, well, we broke up before we're like, think about it, if there was any other loot you wanted. And I was like, I thought about it for a bit, I'm like, I don't know if there was... I asked about magic stuff, and then I was like, nope, there's anti-magic stuff. I was like, damn.
Nope, yeah, no, you blew that.
Yeah, rip.
It's probably just a bunch of bones.
Right, so you have a headache. Lee has some intestinal discomfort. Severa so far is in decent health.
Well, I'm on 1 hit point. Because I got struck by lightning twice.
Yeah, so all this time you haven't rested.
Well, I don't know how much time has passed
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Okay,
But then you got struck again.
You got struck by lightning.
Yeah,
at
that's
end
the thing.
of
I got struck again. So
I assume you just healed yourself, though. Like, wouldn't you just go like...
Oh no, I probably
Tools,
wouldn't
divine
have.
light, mean my wounds.
It'd be towards divine light mean my wounds.
Well, you want the healing to undo what Tor did to you.
Exactly.
I would have thought what Tor wants you to do is kill the wizard so he can make a swashbuckler that looks and sounds like AJ Styles. Because I've got a mini of AJ now.
As a swashbuckler. No. It's actually like that, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the cutest thing. So yeah, there you are, all congregated. Everyone's got the loot they came looking for. No one wants anything extra?
Well, it'd be good to stock up on water.
But we filled up. I would have filled up all the water skins because I had 2 weeks to sort that sort of shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Did the fish like last for like?
No, they rotted pretty quick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as soon as we brought them out,
What did we eat?
dwarven bread.
Oh, okay. Cool.
What did Scribbles eat?
That cheese wheel.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, but after the first day, no. And Scribbles was a cheese wheel. No. Jesus. Okay, that's fine.
So, if I recall, we're like, how the fuck are we going to get the horse down?
And
Right.
the cart driver said he'll do it.
He'd do it, yes.
So you guys just sit on your little seaty-weeties
Yeah.
and you drop down to the lower level, and then the horse comes floating down,
Wow,
just like really calmly and stoically.
that's impressive.
It is interesting.
I don't have my noise phone. Yeah, so that floats on down, and you're all sort of yeah, so the horse just lands and walks calmly off the thing, and
So the guy is down at the bottom again?
yeah, he's leaning there. The bottom is, of course, The old man is leaning there. He's just wearing simple like cloth, homespun sort of robes. They sort of like Jedi robe things, which are only Jedi robes because in A New Hope the two Jedi characters were wearing like deserty robe clothing. So naturally, all Jedi, no matter what environment they live in, wear deserty robe clothing.
Makes sense to me.
It's because no one has any fucking imagination.
It's like pottery.
Yeah, it rims. So stylistically designed to be fatuous. So the room is simpler than the one upstairs. It's carved. It's still very nice dwarven make, solid stonework. There's like some cases with some like books and scrolls and that in it. There's a little bed in the corner that's clearly not part of the original design. There's a lot of stuff around anyway, and you are greeted by just a nod from the old man leaning on the end of his big maul.
Sphero Cleric of Tor, at your service.
I remember.
May we pass through?
If you wish.
Thank you.
Is there anything
May
else
he
we need
watch
to do?
over you who is judge of all the world.
Well, it's nothing you have to do. But if one was interested, there is yet more artifacts for you to plunder. For example, behold! Gesturing behind him to the multiple shelves filled with different types of cups.
Are they, like, I'm guessing there's some that are like jewel encrusted and...
Many different kinds of cups. Not going to waste half an hour describing every one.
Everybody.
No, but I mean...
There. You see, his fortress is old and useful. When the dark times came, the paladins of Tor gathered here in this secret chapel and had the war council.
Paladins?
Oh yes, there were more than just a few, you know.
Huh.
A council was held, and a plan devised to seal it as was tradition in some lands. Normer, some others. They all shared a drink from the same cup, and Tor was there, and he too drank, blessing the cup with incredible God-given power. It is said to take a sip from this cup can grant one incredible power, if you are deserving, for it is justice. If you are undeserving, it can grant you other things. It can restore dead to life, make the weak strong, and the stupid intelligent. When the man who has everything, it has things as well. Oh yes. It is one of these cups.
I said...
There's an array of cups with different varieties of liquid in them.
oh, they're already
Of
got...
different levels.
They've got different
levels. With the liquids at different levels?
Yeah.
Oh.
I wouldn't know which one to pick.
Is there any with no liquid in them?
Yes.
How many?
3 or 4.
3 or 4?
Does one of those happen to be like the least adorned, like most plain looking cup?
Yes.
So one of the ones that's empty looks like that?
Yep.
I'll take that one.
So, metagaming role.
They do a metagaming.
Tor isn't a carpenter.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm going, no, that doesn't sound right.
No, true. But how does a cup represent justice?
It could be adorned with the
I
symbol
mean-
of Tor.
I mean, there's an array of proficiencies you can roll to help you narrow down your search.
I mean, is there one with the symbol of Tor?
I mean, heraldry would be one to see if there's a symbol of Tor
Tor.
on any of them.
Well, I assume they all...
Or associated symbols.
Okay.
Not that there is, but go ahead.
I'll focus on those 4
Okay, so you're focusing on the empty cup.
on the empty cups.
Okay.
For a start. Okay, that's...
A3.
It's a 3, so that's a success of some kind.
None of them bear any kind of heraldry that you find helpful.
Okay.
Is there anyone with the older symbol of Tor?
Would I be able to make a history roll using the ring?
Yeah, you can do that while he's rolling his thing, so the dice can clash together and he can get another mark on the sheet.
It's also a success.
Okay, so I gotta get over 50.
Yeah.
Yes!
50 what?
55.
55.
Okay, you now have proficiency, history, dark time cultures.
They also about as specific as I wanted it to. 10.
Yeah, I was like, did I fail my roll?
So there was nothing off the religious roll?
It's not a religious ceremony you're familiar with.
None of the cups that I'm looking at.
Oh,
are.
actually, yes. None of the 4 cups you specified.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are we widening our search?
Well, yeah, I will after that, but...
Okay.
So I'll do a heraldry on all of them.
I'll get to
Or the
you
rest
in a
of
minute
them.
because I know that's got some information.
That is just a success.
Yeah, there's a few of the cups have like the devices of specific knightly orders from various nations. So some of them have like some national symbology.
But nothing
Nothing
overtly
specifically
Tauric.
Tauric.
And then I'll do religion. That is a fail.
Oh, well, no, you don't know anything. So you got a...
I got a 10. Although I don't know the modifier on history.
It's an intelligence roll, and
Yeah.
I think it's just no modifier. It
It's
just
no
lets you actually use the...
Cool.
Well, that's a success. You were able to isolate 10 cups that match the sort of large two-handed traditional ceremonial, that would match the things used for ceremonies of the Normir and Felonfall and Algreer and some other areas around that time, specifically for making agreements and treaties and pledges and things like that. It was traditional to share a drink from the same large cup.
Like a large,
So
chalice.
it's a large double-handed thing. They're all made of some form of stone.
So I'll point all this out and say, this was the sort of cup used during this time period for ceremonies.
Okay, do we get to make rolls on those ones now, or...?
You've already rolled those ones. There's no
I
symbology.
suppose too, but I thought I might have missed something more when I'm looking at all of them versus narrowing it down. But
Neither of the 2 rolls you've been making will help you with these.
Has he turned any of the cups around?
I'm assuming that when you're doing these kind of perceptions, you're looking at all sides of the cups.
pick it up and...
Alright.
Well, I mean,
You
when I was
be
probably doing
careful,
the
'cause you
wide
don't
one,
know.
I was
That's the only
probably
problem. I was
just
more
looking
concerned that
across.
he didn't pick them up and die it. No, it's more...
Okay, I would have done a thorough examination on the original 4. When I was looking at all of them, I would have just glanced across the whole
Oh, well,
thing.
in that case, you might want to roll again for these 10. Not that you will get anything from them, but you can do it.
That's a success on
You get
the
nothing.
heraldry, and religion is not a success anyway.
It's okay, because the only thing you could pick up from religion is that there are 5 religious chalices amongst the selection, but there are none in the 10 you're isolating.
So what's... You said all these cups were around the same size and made of stone, right?
Some of them are wider, some of them are taller,
Okay.
so,
Are there any major differences other than any carvings or anything that's embedded in the cups or anything?
Okay, so the 10 you've selected is like one of them from carving and other things. 5 of them have ornate carving. And 7 of them, 3 of the 5, also have jewels set in them.
How many jewels?
Varies between like, you know, just 4 for the compass points sort of thing.
Yeah.
To like patterns of like rubies and sapphires.
So nothing of the, say, the...
3 rubies, no.
No. I mean, not 3 rubies, but more likely 1 for each of the nations.
I mean, you would need some kind of knowledge of national identities and standards to be able to determine what gems represented what nations back then, and how many were here.
Yeah, it's how many were here, which is... I don't know. I could say this out loud to them, and they might...
I wouldn't know, so...
Yeah, this is not a thing that...
So even if you said that, it's like, good idea, Sulan, but I have no idea what the state of the kingdoms was back then. What about the weight of the cups?
Can I make that roll?
Sure.
So... I mean, they're all stone. I'm wondering, is there one that's like...
Yes!
God damn it! It's the same again!
What proficiency are we adding to the thing?
That proficiency that you're just... Like, history around that time of national
national...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, there are 2 of them that have specific gems that were identified with each nation's. Like, for example, Normir had the diamond. Romania was represented by a topaz. You'll notice that there's some double ups, probably because the group wouldn't have been diversely represented. But yeah, there are two of the larger Torhald Grer, which is the type of...
Yeah. And are both of these ones that had carvings on them?
Yes.
I'll point these 2 up.
So what's different about the 2 of them?
now that we're down to just 2.
One of them is full, one of them is half full. Otherwise they're kind of similar. One's a little wider, one's a little more gobletier.
And the one that's half full?
That's the more gobletier one.
Yeah, that'd be the one I'd go for.
Sir? Which one of these cups is it?
Total.
Thank you.
And is that the one that's half full, I'm guessing? I'm going to try and drink from it.
Sure, you are deserving of a boon.
That's up to Tor. He is my judge.
He is everybody's judge.
So I will drink from
And
it.
what do you want?
Well, what I want... I don't think that's... Is that relevant when it comes to this? I mean...
When you choose to leave, behind that curtain is the way out. I have only one piece of advice for a struggling young cleric. Stay on the right path, boy.
Thank you, that is...
Don't stray from
Sage
the
advice.
way. Let Tor be your guide. Oh, so tired.
Well,
Bottoms up.
bottoms up.
What do you want?
Mr. Farrell probably acknowledged there's probably something holding him back. A little more humble and a little less up himself.
Okay, so now, with that in mind, do you drink?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes. Tefera's like, if nothing else, this will be a lesson for me, like one way or the other. Like, am I on the right path, or do I need to work a lot harder? Or
as you take a small sip from the rare and precious liquid within the cup, you feel a slight change come over yourself. You realise you're a complete prick sometimes, and you're way too swaggering considering your menial birth, the number of wrongs you've committed, and the horrible, crushing mistakes, like assuming you were a paladin, that were a direct result of your own stuck-up, toffee-nosed, fatuous arrogance. And all of that is taken away from you in a massive, sudden, character-altering moment. You realise it was pompous of you to have drunk from this, assuming you were so worthy. I mean, you are now, but you weren't before.
Oh, okay. He'll carefully put it down, like slightly shaking the cup, like.
Although you are still confident in your path and direction.
Are you right, Sekiro?
I don't know.
One sip from that cup makes a hard man humble. There's not much between despair and ecstasy. Now I feel my work is done. And he dies.
Towards beard.
Remaining brilliantly balanced upon the hammer.
We should leave.
Yes.
Are you sure you don't want to drink from some other mouldy cups of standing liquid of unknown value? I mean, this one's bubbling.
That's never a good sign.
It smells of almonds.
That is also not a good sign.
Oh, you're kidding, those are delicious. Also, poison.
Yes.
Well, I mean, almonds aren't poisoned.
We should go.
There's a type of fish that if you cut it wrong, it will kill you.
Yes.
Yes, they puff up. We have them in Serenia. Well, I say in Serenia, but I mean off the coast.
And in the little restaurants are nestled around the harbours in Venice.
Yes, they serve them there.
Why do you eat the poison?
No, if they're
the
cut
idea is not
just
to eat
right,
poison.
they're brilliant. Apparently, the gland from the fish is also a powerful herbal component, and some wizards seek it because it's part of their... We should leave.
Indeed.
You don't want to look around?
It says
No.
It says we should leave it.
Let us continue. We have enough treasures.
But the things we could learn from these scrolls.
They're mainly religious texts. I mean, you've been... Well, I'm assuming he's been having a religious crisis. You've been reading shit.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot to learn about the ancient rites and traditions of certain Tauric sects. There's also a copy of the battle plan against the Dark One, about how the nations of the world would throw their lives away in a massive distraction so the paladins of Tor could assault him directly. It kind of worked.
Well, clearly.
Wouldn't work now.
Well, no, that eye is missing.
And also there's
Way less paladins.
paladins.
I mean, like, there's now 2, I think, in the whole world. Ammon, Godsbane, and 1 other.
Oh, Balok.
3.
3, sorry.
3 paladins.
Would your monastery be interested in these, Saphira? I'll show them like the ancient Tor religious traditions and that sort of thing.
very careful. These things are thousands of years old. Well, 1,000 years.
I mean, like, wizard trained implies knows how to handle old things.
Oh, but did you buy tweezers?
I do not have tweezers.
You need to buy tweezers.
He does.
Actually, he does.
I know he does.
Oh
I just
my
bought some
God. I hate how equipped you guys.
Actually, you might not.
Suddenly, a Tarrasque loots you.
So you don't have tweezers.
Pickpockets
He's got them at the moment.
Well, the Tarrasque also had the little Tarrasque tweezers that it used to pickpocket. So.
Oh, we should go. Oh man, no. Good for eating. Why did I say that?
Don't take his bones.
Okay.
Let's go.
You're not interested in these at all?
Oh, sorry.
Given the
Those would
delicate
be-
nature, you'd have to turf out your gold riches to carry them. I mean, you know where they are. You
Those-
could just...
Yeah, I was gonna say those can probably wait. We should definitely tell some of the scholars at the nearest temple.
They may,
About them, though.
they may not believe you though.
He has some... You guys are walking out with some substantial proof.
We could have
Maybe-
walked out with the car.
If you can,
We've
if
no-
you can take one of the ones in better condition. That way we can take it there and we can show them.
So, because like I do have stuff to like store stuff like that properly as well. Don't I?
It would have to be alone in the scroll case.
Yeah.
So you'd have to turf out some other stuff. Or store them less securely somewhere.
Is it rolled or is it flat?
It's a scroll, so it's rolled.
Okay.
I mean,
'Cause
it's
you-
been unrolled, but it is a rolled scroll.
Because you could keep it with your desk kit.
Well, you could unroll it and put it in the
Desk kit. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But you can't just take things that have been rolled up for like centuries
And then flatten
and
them
then
out.
flatten
But
them
what
out.
I'm saying is, you can put stuff that's in your scroll kit and put it in your desk kit.
Oh yeah, I mean that's like yeah.
Okay, cool. That's sorted out. I'll consider that protected well enough. Good. So, the party proceeds through the velveteen curtains. As each member of the party passes through the curtain, they are struck by the sudden coldness on the other side. It's unusual after being perhaps just slightly too warm.
Why is it so cold here?
It's nice.
I haven't. You.
Woo!
If it was a little.
Brisk.
If it was a slightly not quite as cold, it would be nice. But yes,
No,
it certainly is better than
I definitely
some of the
prefer
heat
the
we-
weather before.
that we've come across.
Well, aren't you a farm boy from Romania?
Yes.
Well, that's why.
Are we going?
I mean, you probably spent half your life out in the fields.
You must literally be going deeper into the mountains, otherwise.
Well, we're going deeper underground.
God, okay. Jesus.
You find yourself in a partially collapsed tunnel of hasty make. You follow it down and along and down for a day. Do you choose to stop and rest at any point?
I imagine we get tired
I get tired.
at some point, and we.
It opens up into huge big collapsed areas and then shrinks back down into not collapsed areas. And,
So when you say a hasty make,
I mean, it was originally made hastily.
like someone just
You can still see the pick marks. on the walls.
okay.
This doesn't have that sort of smooth dwarven tunnel
Okay.
look.
It looks like someone wanted to get the fuck out or get the fuck in.
Looks like either that or it was just never finished.
Well, maybe the time was critical when they were running late. So.
I mean, we'd probably rest in one of the bigger areas, I imagine.
Yeah.
You can all roll 3 perception checks for your journey.
Each?
Yes.
Rip. That one's good.
Stephen, has Sulan even read her scroll yet?
She has.
She got
And does
Saphira to
Sulan
read it
remember
out.
her position of the other item?
Sorry.
Do you remember your position of the other item?
Yeah.
Okay,
Um.
that annoys me. Okay, so how many successes out
Oh,
of 3
well,
of
wait.
each have you got?
Alright. Sorry.
Well, I remember you got Saphira to read out the scroll.
Yeah. 2 of 3.
2 of 3.
Yeah, you're rattled.
Yeah.
None.
Okay, so Mr. Warizard Wizorier. Mr. doesn't know what he wants to be in life.
Well, there could be 2 of them.
This could be just paranoia and the recent awakening of your warrior instincts, brother. But you think a couple of times you're fairly sure you feel like eyes watching you. But it could just be like one of the party because you're in the middle of the group where it's nice and safe for the wizard bones.
Where's...
And you notice like Lee is just looking around. Lee is acting just slightly odd as well. So it could be him. And it doesn't really make you... mention it. You just think you're being a bit paranoid because of the creepy, spooky, cold, dark surroundings.
Like, slightly odd for Lee? Or is he just...
Slightly odd for Lee.
Oh,
So he's a little out of character.
Oh, okay. I mean... It is Lee, though.
Yeah, so, okay.
There is a lot of, like, forgiving Lee for, like, doing stupid shit because he's Lee.
Okay, if you insist. That's fine. Cool. You think a couple of times in your descent that you heard something that might not have been the party, but with all the echoing and the weird and the horse underground, that's not a sound.
No.
You so you're like, oh, I'm not entirely sure, and you brush it off. But you thought you heard a couple of things now and then. So now you're in camping. What are you doing? Because this is an unusual camp, I feel.
So it's like an open area, right?
Moderately open. I figure you'll build your fire up against like the spire of rock and put
Yeah.
your tents around it there, and that way you've only got that sort of direction to look in.
Yeah.
Question.
An interrogative statement designed to test knowledge.
During the entire journey, there was no point in time where anything diverted off or paths came in from other, intersected with our...
Not really. Only in the larger caverns when it's like the collapsed nature of it. I mean, you could have like gone around that way, but ended up in the same place. And in those points, I'm assuming the dutiful scouts would have checked those out.
Well, it's more the fact that it's like, do we have to watch the area behind us because there might be things...
I would anyway.
Like I said,
Yeah.
You've positioned yourself so you've only got like a...
Yeah. But our main focus would
I mean,
be
it depends on how paranoid you want to be.
where we haven't gone, yeah.
Well, I'd set up camp anyway, even with the bells.
And we still have watch rotations.
What are you tying them onto?
Be rocks, because there'll be...
Okay.
Yeah, tying the string between rocks and just...
We could probably
Wedge. I'm just
like
gonna
an arrow
try,
between
like,
some rocks.
minor
Yeah.
cantrip stuff to see if magic is still...
Magic is now functioning according to your cantrips.
Okay. So I'm going to...
You also feel a flood of awareness as... now that magic is functioning, the parts of your brain that exist only in the contemporary world of Magicka are now connecting with the rest of you, and you are now capable of thinking in n-dimensional magical geometry, like a square, like a four-sided triangle is now a completely logical thing that you can conceptualize.
Yeah.
And thus you are now awakened. You are woken.
Wonderful!
But no, it's a good thing. It means you're not tragic.
Look, it's a dilapidated boat. Yeah, so I just have like magic missile memorized for today, so I cannot do like camp setup stuff. But I will start doing that like after we rest and then.
Sometimes, as you look around, you wonder how people can go through their sad, tiny little lives without understanding the true mysteries of the universe. And then you realize it must be because they're thick and don't know any better. Ignorance truly is bliss.
How are you doing? Did you obtain all the things you wished?
Yes.
Good.
We saw the crown that he took, so...
I know that was the main one, but he had, like... Was it about
He
seven things, I think
he also had a trident, but you missed the rest of everything while you were taking care of your own lootings.
Yeah, fair enough. Roya, what about you? Did you find what you were after?
I mean, I wasn't really after anything except experiences, but I have found several documents dating back to campaign tactics of the Dark Wars, and what have the room I had left over I just filled up with Electrum coins. Because everyone just goes for gold.
Fair enough.
Money really isn't that necessary or useful to me. I mean, I suppose I could always have filled my pack with as much platinum as I could find, but there doesn't seem to be any, and bailed out a small kingdom and lived like a queen.
True.
There was platinum in the last one.
Oh well. Not important.
So, were you ever planning on telling us why you really came along?
What, you don't just do this for the thrillsome adventures and stories?
Well,
How many people do you know get to say they have been in the Parched Stone?
5.
I am more meant... When were you going to fully drop the pretense of being a fishing woman?
Sir, I am offended and deeply, deeply going to just roll a charisma thing here and make you believe me. No. Interesting.
I mean, it
You fucked me, dice.
it does not bother me. I just thought you would be able to trust us.
Why
at this
would you
point.
think I'm anything other than a simple, humble peasant?
Because you've said so.
Nonsense.
In not
And
so
also,
many words.
you're clearly very intelligent and well-read. And
Oh, I
knowledgeable.
see. No peasant can be intelligent. How do you explain the clergy? Which is
But
a
are
word
you-
we have for religious men.
You know, you have said more than 3 times that you aren't interested in gold.
I mean,
That's
what?
not how peasants think.
No, but... No, what peasant would be interested in gold, really?
All of them.
No, you can't spend it.
I'm not saying that peasants cannot read. It's just they generally don't have the means in order to.
I mean, reading's kind of a woman thing. It's not really manly. I mean, what kind of big, healthy, brawny man can read? You don't count. You're in the clergy. And you don't count. You're a wizard.
I could also.
And you don't count. You're a woman.
I could also read before I was in the clergy.
Weren't you part of a merchant noble family in the Serenian tradition?
That is correct.
Because your father, son of a traitor, left Normer and became with his father and became married to a Serenian woman, inheriting a business.
You did tell her everything, didn't you?
I mean, pretty
Well, she
much.
pieced a lot of it together, obviously, including certain other things that we came across, such as my great-great-grandfather. But if you wish to remain...
I mean, what else am I going to be?
I was just hoping you would be, at this point, honest enough to just tell us about yourself and how you came to learn how to read.
Okay, so am I from an Eastwatch fishing village? Yes.
And how did you come to learn to read? And
Well, I've already actually told you that.
I think if she wishes to keep it secret, we should leave it that way.
I
Very
mean,
well.
reading is essential if you want to learn stories afar off, and, well, it helps with music. I know it's not exactly the most sought-after skill, but I think you'll agree I didn't waste my time.
no. If you wish to keep your secrets, by all means.
Well, I suppose I might be willing to share a few things I may have held back if you would finish off the story about your sister and a costume party that you never actually...
Did I actually...
You started
telling
and then
that
you
one?
stopped. So you wanna finish that one off? Since we're being so honest.
This is entirely inconsequential. We need
Yes,
to
it
rest
is.
so we
He's
can keep
right.
moving.
Wow.
Well, we need to rest
Well,
first.
this is while we camp, so it's like...
Okay, question. Are you lighting a fire?
Yes.
Yeah, most likely. Especially because it's been getting colder.
Are you cooking?
Cooking
We
what?
have the bread. Well, we're boiling it, I guess.
You could kill the horse and eat it.
The horse has the gold on it.
Selfish bastard. You could have killed it and eaten it all yourself.
You could ride the horse.
I wonder if we could have a little bit of Scribbles' cheese and make dwarven bread toasties. I'm guessing not.
Dwarven bread is about as baked as it's ever going to get. Right.